Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the All Sports Focus podcast on the All Sports Focus Network. We are here today doing a little NFL divisional round matchup and the College Football National Championship. We've got the five of us here today: Ryan, Garrett, Sean, and Pap. Say what's up.
What's up?
All right, so no Troy tonight, but we got the rest of the five of us. We're going to be, like I mentioned, talking about divisional round games and the national championship, and that's where we're going to start right off. Is between Indiana and Miami this week at Miami, which is kind of funny enough to say. Like, I feel like I'd never really heard of it before until like the Bucs played in their own stadium in the Super Bowl, and then the Rams played in their own stadium, and now the national championship. I feel like it's become a lot more common over the last couple of years, but shout out Miami. They were like the last team to get in, and now they're in the national championship, so good for them. Real quick, though, Ryan, we're going to start off with you. What was your quick thoughts on that Ole Miss-Miami game? That was one of the best games of the season in college football for sure.
I was impressed. I mean, Ole Miss gave them a game. They were right there all throughout, and even with all of the kind of chaos and confusion around Ole Miss coaching staff and who was going to be coaching, who wasn't, and they still played a hell of a game and really came down to the very last drive with Carson Beck scoring with just a few seconds to go. So hats off to Ole Miss on a hell of a season that nobody expected. And Miami was just the better team in the end.
Pap, what were your thoughts on the other side of it on the Indiana-Oregon absolute BTA? But, I mean, what were your thoughts on that one?
I really think that, like, obviously, it was an absolute BTA, but at the same time, it was like, what were these turnovers? Like, Dante Moore's mom was driving a Porsche home that night because he got paid off because that was ridiculous. I mean, I've never seen some of those turnovers, like, in my life. Like, I really thought
a quarterback hitting a running back with the ball during his throwing motion.
So I think if, like, yeah, some of those turnovers kind of went the other way or just didn't even happen, I think it'd be a lot closer. I'm not saying they'd win, but maybe like 28-3, maybe not 59-10, whatever it was.
Yeah, Oregon got some garbage time points in there. Sean, sorry, Garrett, I'm going to you last, but Sean, do you think there's really any chance for Miami here in this game? Not saying like Miami's like out of the world, like they're going to get blown out, but like, do you think they'll be able to win?
Yeah, I've been out on Miami basically this whole college playoff, but I think that they've shown that they had a lot of experience, whether that's just Carson Beck just carrying them on his back, being like, hey, I've been in this spot multiple times before, whether it's as a QB2 or the past few years. But he's like, hey, we just got to win one. Once we win that one, we're on to the next one. We just got to win one. It's like you get 7 games. And this, you could be the worst team. You could be a worse team than the other teams that you're playing, but you need 1 or 2 things to go right for you. And then boom, you have a lead. You can keep sustaining off of that. And I mean, I think anybody has a chance when it's a one-off game. Anything could happen, but Indiana has been just whooping teams this whole time. So I think I'm going to give the edge to Indiana by a decent bit, but Miami could pull it off easily.
The spread did change from 7.5 to 8.5 over the last 24 hours. If Vegas tells you anything, I mean, they're changing it by a lot. But Garrett, on the other side of it, then, I mean, why do you think? I'm guessing. I'll come to you after we give our game picks, Garrett, because I want to see if you're actually going to pick who I was going to ask you. But I'm going to ask who's your winner and why, and then give me why they're going to win.
So the winner of this game, in my opinion, let me just say this in probably the nicest way possible. You know what? Let me start off by saying, I actually give it, to Carson Beck for, turning around, hitting the transfer portal, going to Miami, taking them this far, doing what he's doing. You have to give him credit, still to even take that team where they, they weren't favored at all in a lot of these games leading up to where they're at now. So, they took it all the way. But that being said, if I don't see Fernando Mendoza walk over to that Miami sideline, take that belt off of Michael Irvin, and bend him over and start giving him that freaking work, I mean, then it's a failure because Indiana has that. I mean, both sides of the ball have been playing so good. I mean, it kind of reminds me not to be a home or anything, but, the prime Bama teams that just you hit on all cylinders, man. You didn't want to play him. Now people are taking him serious, and I mean the defense is going crazy, causing turnovers, and then you got the quarterback, the Heisman quarterback doing what he's doing. So if you don't go over there and take that belt from Michael Irvin and just go down the whole sideline, Ray Lewis, Michael Irvin, Ben Auburn, then I feel like they did something wrong. But got to get to their coach, man. Both of these coaches are good too as well. So
yeah, I mean, I completely agree with all of that. Want to touch all the alumni? Like, it was funny enough, all these teams had their alumni. Like, they had one or two guys come out for like the coin toss. Like, Ole Miss had Eli Manning and Patrick Willis, and Miami obviously had Ray Lewis, I think, was walking out there. I can't remember who Oregon had. I don't know if I didn't really see, but I was more paying attention and laughing at the fact that Indiana had Kyle Schwarber out there, because they literally don't have any known football alumni. Like, I seriously could not tell you one who's like playing in the NFL. I'm not trying to talk shit. This is just a real point. Like, I mean, it's just how crazy this turnaround has been for Indiana. And it's such props to the coaching job of Cignetti. I mean, this is ridiculous. This was the most losing program in college football history 2 years ago. And now they could go 16-0, the first team to ever go 16-0 and win the national championship. And I mean, they're up there. Arguably, if they win this game like they've beat like Alabama and they beat Oregon, they're up there in conversation for one of the best teams ever. In my opinion, they might not have the most
They have
skill.
a better point differential like over the season per game than the 2019 LSU team did.
Mm-hmm.
If 2019 LSU played this team, they'd beat them by 30.
Yeah, I still think LSU would win just because of the NFL talent. But I mean, I'm looking at just the coaching job and like the fact that there's like no 4 or 5 stars on this Indiana team. I mean, obviously stars and recruiting don't mean everything, but it's pretty crazy. So, all right, we're going to pick our winners. Obviously, Garrett picked Indiana, but we're going to go to Pap now. Pap, who is your winner?
Indiana, I don't think there's much more to say about it. I think Miami's a good team, but at the same time, I don't think Miami's that good of a team. So, yeah, Indiana.
Still got to give a little hate as a Notre Dame fan. So, Sean, who's your winner?
I got to go with Indiana. They're just killing teams.
Ryan?
My first question is Miami going to be in the away locker room in their own stadium?
Yes,
because they're the lower seed?
They should be.
They will be. They will be.
That's hilarious to me. But Indiana, I think, gets this done. Just top to bottom, the discipline that they played with. And I think Oregon and Alabama both were very good teams. And I think Oregon's a better team than Miami is. And Indiana, Pap is dying.
We might need to check on
Pap.
Pap, are you all right? I mean, he is.
Wrong pipe. Wrong pipe.
His face is bright red right now.
Woo. Sorry, Ryan. Keep going.
I think Oregon's a better team than Miami is, and Indiana beat the brakes off Oregon. So I think they get it done, and especially if they come out early on, disciplined, and kind of don't let the moment be too big, which I feel like Cignetti won't let them do. Then I think they cruise and win this one.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with the train here and pick Indiana. I just don't really think there's much debate. The reason why Miami's won these 3 games so far in the playoffs has really been like dominating the time of possession, just really trying to run the ball and keep other offenses off the field. But the difference is Indiana's defense is that good where they're not going to let that happen. And their offense always scores in like 6 or 7 plays, and they're scoring. So, I'm picking Indiana. We're all sweeping Indiana, so hopefully that doesn't, backfire. But I mean, it's crazy. Shout out the Hoosiers. Shout out my mom. I mean, seeing the happiness on my mom's face, like she was in Indiana for 4 years, and she said she saw about like 6 total wins in football over like 4 years. That might be pushing. It was probably more like closer to 10. But
somebody said they have to go 16-0 for the next 12 years, and then win the first game of their 13th season to be 500 as a program.
Gosh.
Yeah, that's sad. But I mean, look at it. That's the day of the transfer portal now. I mean, Indiana's not going to stop anytime soon. They got a top 10 transfer class coming in next year too. And can we stop? I know I said this last week, but can we stop with the frickin' Cignetti to the NFL? I mean, he's 60-something years old. He's dominating college right now. Who in their right mind would go to the NFL? I mean, seriously, this is like, he came from under Nick Saban. He came from the Nick Saban tree. I think Nick Saban would be the first person to tell him, hey, how about you just stay in college where you probably are going to win a national championship and you're going to be another favorite next year. So I think, yeah, he's not going to the Steelers. Okay. That's just not happening. I saw someone on ESPN today say the Raiders should trade the first pick for Mike Tomlin. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And then they'll get Signetti and Fernando Mendoza. I'm like, who the hell will give up the first pick for Mike Tomlin who hasn't won a playoff game in 7 years? But that's for later in the episode. But now
that's just a little aggressive there.
That really pissed me off because it was just I don't understand it. I don't like some of these people that are like analysts and they're getting paid as their job. They have some of the worst takes I've seen in my life. It's ridiculous. But that's for a whole nother topic. All right, moving on. NFL divisional round. Shout out the Bills. They got a big win in Jacksonville. Sean was at the game, rooting on in enemy territory.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Sean from All Sports Focus here. At the Bills-Jags game, go Bills. Big dub. Moving on to the divisional round. Look at all those Bills fans over there. Half of them are gone, but they took up that entire section. Jags fans not leaving happy, but they're still in a good place. They're going to be back. First-year head coach. Got to give them props. Gave them a good fight. But Bills move on to the divisional. Go Bills. Let's fucking go.
The Bills got a big win.
You'll see a YouTube short of Sean's little vlog recap of the game going up on our YouTube here soon.
Yeah, we haven't even seen that yet, so it'll be a first-time view for us as well. So, the Broncos and the Bills will be the first game here of the of the divisional round. The Bills will be going to Denver. So, we're just going to go around the circle here, pick our winners. And yeah, so Garrett, who is your winner between the Bills and the Broncos?
The Bills and the Broncos, man, that's a good question. So, with the injuries with the Bills, I still think, with just having Josh Allen, having that chip on his shoulder, I mean, this is the year. I mean, yeah, he's lacking a little bit of wide receivers, but I mean, he is Josh Allen. I mean, he's going to find a way to get it done. He has, like, I was talking with Ron, I mean, he's got 3 good tight ends that can come out and catch a ball. Shakir played really good last game. So, I mean, he still has playmakers. I still think that he still needs to get it done this year, or it's, that's another topic for another day. But I think they find a way to pull it out on the road in Denver and get the job done.
Pap, who is your winner?
I also like the Bills. I mean, Broncos are just the most fraudulent team ever. So, like, I've never seen a team. I mean, they've won all the games they're supposed to win, but at the same time, they're not winning them, like, convincingly. And I just think, obviously, with the Jaguars scoring a bunch of points in the Broncos a couple weeks back, I don't think why the Bills can't do it either, even though they lost 2 of their receivers. I mean, they're not, I wouldn't say key receivers, but they're big time. But I think they're going to really handle business in Denver.
Sean, I obviously know who you're going to pick, but one quick sentence, why are the Bills going to win?
I don't need a sentence. I just need 2 words. Josh Allen.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Ryan, same thing. One statement here, one sentence. What do you got? Why the Bills going to win? Because I obviously know you're going to pick the Bills.
Our only weakness is run, like a rushing attack, and the Broncos can't run the ball that well. So everything else falls into place because you have Josh Allen. And honestly, pass defense, Trey White, got to say, for being, I don't even know, he's in his mid-30s. He's on the back end of his career, but 3 pass breakups and one of them being for the game-sealing interception. The dude was balling.
Huge pass breakups.
So it's a little crazy here that we're sweeping the 6 seed over the 1 seed, but I'm going with the Bills as well. The Broncos are
If we didn't seed based off divisions, getting the auto 1 through 4, the Bills would not be.
They would have been like the 4
they'd be
or the 5. Wouldn't have been that much of a difference, but I'm just saying it's the 1 seed.
1
here
versus
that we're
4
talking
is a
about,
lot different.
And I understand, but we're sweeping the 1 seed here. It's still kind of a big deal, even though the Broncos are frauds. It's Josh Allen. I think it showed in Jacksonville. Nobody else even really showed up besides him and Shakir. And honestly, you don't even need Shakir to show up. Josh Allen has shown time and time again that he could be the whole team.
Throw it
and
to
win games.
Brandon Cooks off the waiver wires.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
been on like 7 teams, and he just casually catches a go route with a linebacker in his face.
All right, so moving on here to the Saturday night game, a rematch of a Week 18 game here. I think this game will be even better than the Week 18 game. Is the 49ers and the Seahawks. 49ers got a big win in Philly this last week. A whole lot of question marks going around Philly in the offseason, but we'll touch on that in the offseason episodes. But we're focusing on the teams actually in the playoffs. 49ers, Seahawks, and Seattle. Garrett, who's your winner?
You know, the 49ers won me some money this last weekend, but you know, all good things must come to an end. And I feel like Seattle they're playing another, I mean, this is the gauntlet right here. I mean, Seattle's playing, again, another team on all cylinders. So, I mean, if they keep playing like they do, I mean, I don't see why they would be stopping now. So, and a home field in Seattle, loud stadium, I'm going to go with Seattle.
Pap, who's your winner?
I like the Seahawks. I mean, I know the 49ers just beat the Eagles, but I mean, to be frank, 49ers and Eagles haven't been the most convincing, like, top seeds this year. I mean, I know they weren't top seeds, the 49ers, but yeah, I just like the Seahawks here. They kind of really just halted them on offense when they played each other in Week 18, so I don't think it's going to be much different in this matchup, and I could see something like that happening again.
Sean?
I like the 49ers a lot, but without George Kittle, I think that's one of the biggest pieces of their offense. And although Jake Tonjes did good during the regular season when he had to fill in for Kittle, I don't think him and Luke Farrell are enough to make up for the Kittle absence. So I'm going to go with the Seahawks.
Ryan?
I like the 49ers here. I think we've seen Sam Darnold realistically struggle in big games over his career. And this is kind of the definition where the pressure's more on the 1 seed, that you're coming off the bye, you're playing a 6 seed. The expectation is that you beat them again. And like we've talked about, it's hard to beat a team multiple times, especially when you're playing twice in 3 weeks. So I think the 49ers win the turnover battle and get the short field for their offense a couple times and sets the 49ers up to win this one.
I'm going to pick Seattle. I just really think the 49ers' lack of any pass rush without Nick Bosa, I think is really what's going to come to bite them this week. I think Sam Darnold's just going to have too much time. And with JSN, I mean, he's top 3 wide receiver in the league, and I think he's just going to shred apart the 49ers. Still think it's going to be a close game because McCaffrey is Christian McCaffrey still, but I think Seattle's going to get this win and move on. All right, so moving on to Sunday, the Houston Texans will be going to the New England Patriots for the first game of the day. The Texans got a big win over the Steelers, and the Patriots won a very ugly game over the Los Angeles Chargers. Garrett, who is your winner of this game?
I mean, from watching both of the games that they both played in this past weekend, wasn't very convincing at all. I mean, we can probably get to say, I mean, those were probably the 2 worst games of the weekend. But I mean, I guess if you look at it a different way, I mean, very defensive side of games, which I feel like that would be the outcome in this game as well of the Texans. I'm going to personally take the Texans over the Patriots. I think, you know, it does get a little fraudulence here and there, hearing about the Patriots. So I think I'm going to go with the Texans on this one.
I think the Patriots take care of the Texans swiftly. I know Texans defense is probably the best, and like statistically, it's the best in the last 30 years. So I know they're insane. There's defenses but the best I've seen probably in my loving a football lifetime. And they literally stop everybody for the most part. And I still think the Patriots are too sound all the way around to lose to a team like the Texans that doesn't really have much of an offense. I know they scored 30 points yesterday, but they had 2 defensive touchdowns in that first half. I mean, the Steelers defense is good, but they've struggled this year, and they made the Steelers defense look really good in the first half. So, yeah, I'm just going to roll the Patriots, and they're going to move on to the NFC or AFC Conference Championship.
All right, Sean?
Watching the 2 games, the Patriots didn't look great in the first half. Really, they didn't look great all game offensively. Drake May really put them on his back, and I think that's what he's going to have to do again. But that Texans defense, even with the 3 turnovers from CJ Stroud, they still ended up scoring 30 points. Yeah, it was on the back of the defense. They had 2 defensive touchdowns, but I mean, they've been able to do that against basically any team that they've played throughout the entire season. So if CJ Stroud can get it back to where he doesn't have any turnovers or one, like he's been doing basically the entire season, it's not going to create as many opportunities for the Patriots to get it in good field position. So with that being said, I am going to be taking the Texans.
Ryan?
I like the Texans here too. I think basically all of the like important games the Patriots have played this year have been close. Drake May didn't even complete 60% of his passes this past weekend, and they only won 16-3 when they had pressure on Justin Herbert 30 of his 31 pass attempts, and you can only put up 16 points against that. It just doesn't. I don't see this Chargers defense is not good, and this Texans defense.
We're saying the Chargers defense isn't good? Come on now.
I mean, they're not the Texans good.
No,
they're good, but they're not as good as the Texans.
Defense. They're up there. They're up.
Okay.
You're acting.
Whatever.
Sorry.
They're in the top half of the league. Whatever.
Sorry, the way you said it was like you made it sound like they're like a bottom 5 defense.
No, they're not the Texans. They're not number 2 in the league behind the Texans being number 1. And I just don't think the Patriots have played any competition. And when they have, they realistically have not played overly well. Gave up a 21-point lead to the Bills. The Ravens, who didn't even make the playoffs, played them close. They only beat the Saints by a couple points. So I just think there's a lot of opportunity there. And all CJ Stroud really has to do is just be a very basic game manager. And the Texans can get this done.
Yeah, I'm going to pick the Texans as well. I was really back and forth on this one all day. I simply think it's the Texans defense that's going to win them this game. It's just one of those defenses that can win you a Super Bowl, but also to some extent that if CJ Stroud has another 3 turnover game, the Patriots aren't the Steelers. They're a lot better than the Steelers. They will take advantage of those turnovers if that does happen. So if CJ Stroud has another game like that, I fully expect the Patriots to win, but hopefully CJ Stroud limits the turnovers, and I think if he does that, they'll win the game. So the last game of the night, and I personally think this is going to be the best game of the weekend, and the Rams at the Bears. 2 teams that have kind of, I wouldn't say have been like the best in the world, but both these teams have kind of, I wouldn't say limped into the playoffs, but have won a lot of close games in the playoffs. The Bears have come back, I feel like, every single game in the last 2 minutes to win over the last month and a half. And the Rams have been in close games, I feel like, every week. And I'm happy that one of the close games finally went the Rams' way because, sorry, Troy, if the Panthers would have moved on, they would have gotten kicked. They would have gotten their ass kicked in the next round. So I'm happy for game's sake that the game is better with the Rams. Garrett, who's your winner here between the Rams and Bears?
I think it's going to be I feel like this game could go very lopsided, Rams way, honestly. If the Bears played like they did, and then, if they ended up having to try to play that comeback game with the Rams, I don't think it would go their way at all. I think the Rams would, take advantage of that and just keep the foot on the gas and just keep, to the neck. So I think I'm going to go with the Rams on this one. I think it's going to be, it's saying the spread's 3.5, but I think they definitely clear the 3.5 for sure on this game.
Well, I know where Pap's going, but Pap, who's your winner?
I'm taking the Chicago Bears. Matthew Stafford, since he's joined the Rams, is 1-9 and below freezing. 1-9. I mean, he's. I wanted to fade. I wanted to fade the Bears so much. I wanted to, but something about this cardiac comeback, it's ridiculous. I mean, I bet on Packers. I was devastated. But I don't know if the Rams could play in the cold, and I don't like Puka, so.
But isn't he a Michigan man, though? Isn't he? Isn't he a Michigan man?
The rest of the team ain't a Michigan man. He's Georgia. Well, he's Georgia. He's from Georgia, but he played in Detroit.
He's from Texas, bro. He ain't no Michigan man. He just played for the Lions.
Oh, that's right, but he still has a house in Michigan.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, but it don't matter. The rest of the team. The rest of the team isn't really.
Ford Field's inside though, Garrett. He's played in a dome when he was playing.
That is very true. That is true.
But yeah, I just like the Bears here. I mean, I'd love to. I want this pick to be like so wrong, but I'm going to take the Bears just because it's a gut pick.
I like that. I know
It's
what
like
he's doing.
Sean's reverse jinx last
Yeah,
week.
he's playing the mental game.
Yeah, so you heard it here first. Pap Nate, the biggest Bears hater in the world over the last 2 months, is picking the Bears here, but I think he's rooting for the Rams secretly. So, Sean, who's your winner of this game?
These are probably two of my favorite teams outside of the Bills, just because I love Puka and then I love a bunch of players on the Bills. Or Bears, sorry. The Bears, if it's close going into the fourth quarter, I think the Bears pull it out easily. I mean, even if it's not close. Caleb, at the end of games, the clutch factor just hits him and he turns into a completely different quarterback. I've been struggling going back and forth. I'm going to go ahead and go with the Rams.
All right.
I'm struggling, bro. Like, I can't.
Yeah. He was in deep
No.
thought for that picking this game, so it's close. I think this ends up being the best game of the weekend. I really do. I think this is. I'm glad they put this on Sunday Night Football. I really am. So, Ryan, who's your winner?
Fourth, I think the home field factor could definitely play a huge part in this. But I like the experience that Matt Stafford's bringing into this game. He's been here. He's been in the playoffs. He's been in the league. Caleb Williams has kind of had a resurgent second year here, but I just don't know that if they don't get off to a good start, that they're going to be able to come back on this Rams offense, because I think they can control the ball if they need to. So I think I'm going to take the Rams by a field goal at the very end. It's going to be close, and I think the Bears will have a shot, and it'll come up just short on the comeback attempt.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna pick the Rams as well. If you guys know from listening, the Rams are like low-key my second favorite team behind the Giants. So I'm always gonna root for the Rams any chance I get. And this is another one of those. I really think they're gonna get Devontae Adams a lot more involved this week. Wasn't really much of a factor last week in Carolina. And I think they're gonna make it like a key, especially after all of his years in Green Bay and beating the Bears all those times. I bet you he loves going to Soldier Field because him and Aaron Rodgers always just dominated there, and I think that continues. I don't think they dominate, but I think they're going to beat the Bears by, I would say, I like what Ryan said, by a field goal late, and kind of an opposite Bears fashion. I think they'll have the ball with a chance to tie it, and I think they won't be able to do it for the first time in the last 8 weeks. So, with that being said, those are our winners for the divisional round.
They didn't do it against the Lions, so the Lions actually did stop the comeback in Week 18 because we're just little bro Ben. But yes, go ahead.
But my thing with it, it's just so hard. You know how Caleb Williams is going to play. Is he going to be that great quarterback, or is he going to go out there and be that dog water quarterback? So it's literally he has no in between. He's either really good or he's really bad. And
look at the first half.
But when it's really good, though, but when exactly
against the Packers,
so
that was a definition.
I can see where y'all are. It is a tough decision. But just something about it, man. I feel like they definitely the Rams cover the spread on this game for some reason. So,
all right. So, with that being said, those are all of our winners for the national championship and the divisional rounds. I'll be very excited to watch all those games. Obviously, I'm rooting for the Bills now. I'm hoping that at least one or two of the members on our podcast, I hope they can get a Super Bowl. I mean, that'll be, since All Sports Focus has started, that will be the first, members teams to win a Super Bowl. Obviously, me and Garrett's Giants have not been anywhere close, but hopefully soon. Pap's Lions have been there close. Troy's Panthers have basically been in the same scenario we have been, but the Bills have always been there. They've been close, and like we've said multiple times, this is the year for Josh Allen to do it. So, with that being said, we're going to move on here to the last part of the episode. I'm just going to really talk about all the head coaching openings in the NFL, since this is one of the most crazy cycles probably in the last 5 to 10 years, at least that I can remember. Based on going into this offseason, a lot of people projected there would be about 4 openings, but now there's 9 openings, which is kind of ridiculous to say. And if you would have told me that after this season that Zach Taylor would be the only AFC North coach left, I would have said, what the hell are you talking about? Because he's the worst one of the 4. So that kind of blew my mind. But a lot of the other ones I feel like were, I shouldn't say expected, but I mean, you've got the Cardinals, you've got the Falcons, You got the Ravens, you got the Browns, you got the Dolphins, Giants, Titans. Who else am I missing? How many was that? 5?
Steelers.
And Steelers.
Steelers.
Baltimore.
Well, I said Baltimore. I'm trying
Said
to.
them.
But Tennessee.
Yeah, I said maybe I hit all of them.
Didn't
I said
Tampa Bay fire?
no. They kept Bulls.
Las Vegas.
Yeah, the Raiders. The Raiders. That's what I
Vegas.
was forgetting. Yep. So, I mean, a lot of openings, a lot of big name openings. Really, the big
Carousel.
one though that we're going to touch on here that happened today, obviously is Mike Tomlin stepping down from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Everything I've seen is like Steelers fans were like happy that he left, and which is, I mean, kind of surprising with how much like constant success, if you want to call going 500 and winning no playoff game success. But I mean, I can't really talk because I'm used to seeing 4-win seasons. So, Pap, what are your thoughts early on this Mike Tomlin? It's not a firing, he resigned, but I mean, or retired, I would basically call it retired. What are your early thoughts on it?
I'd say, like, when I first saw it, I was like, wow, like, I was surprised, but at the same time, I think he was just sick of the constant, like I almost in a way, like, stress of just going 98 every season and having to live up to the expectations of anything more or less of that. Because I feel like the last 3 years, obviously, nobody really talked about him and his job being on the line. The last 3 years has been like that. I feel there's been that slight tension within, like, the fan base where, like, they're just slowly just, like, falling apart. And I think it was time. I could see him maybe going to TV for a year or something and then maybe coming back and mean something, maybe not a full head coach, but something less. But, I mean, I hope him the best. He's one of my favorite coaches to ever, he's one of my favorite coaches ever, so I hope he just finds something that he enjoys in life, maybe goes hunting more, see his kids more, you know?
Yeah. I really think this is very similar to like the Sean Payton type of scenario that happened with him and the Saints, because the Steelers still technically hold his rights. So let's say he goes to like Fox or NBC or any of those places for a year, and it's like, you know what, actually I want to come back and coach again. Someone will need to trade for his rights. So it's like the Broncos did. They traded their first round pick for Sean Payton, which I could very see that happening like within the next 2 years. I could say, I mean, he's young. He's still sounding like he's like 65 plus, and he's like, you know what, I was at my time anyways. I think he's still got plenty of years left. But real quickly, we're just gonna throw out a name. All right, no real thought behind it. This is still very early. Obviously, they haven't even interviewed anybody yet because it just happened like 5 hours ago. But Garrett, who's your just like early favorite, or I shouldn't even say favorite, like if you just had an idea, who do you think the next coach of the Steelers would be? Just throw out a name, any name possible.
Ooh, I think, I don't know, man. I feel like it would be kind of like a Stefanski. Just in my head, I got Stefanski. You know, seeing, you know, okay, yeah, something about Stefanski makes me kind of just fits the Steelers.
Pap, you have any, or actually, I'm gonna go to Sean. Sean's been pretty quiet over there. Sean, who's your early? I shouldn't say early again, but who's your idea?
Kurt Signetti. I'm joking. I'm joking. They're gonna trade
Try
for
to
the
push
number
my
one
buttons.
pick, and you know. No, I think they're gonna go for something just completely different. My buddy, who's a Steelers fan, like you mentioned earlier, I texted him and I was like, "What are your thoughts on it? Like, how do you feel?" He said, "I think it was time for a change. Like, it's been the same thing for the past 19 years, whatever." So he said, "I'm glad we're going for a change, but it does suck to lose him." So I think it's going to be something like just not crazy, but like a Mike McDaniel, where it's just like, well, that's a complete change from what we had. And it's going to be a few years of, we're going to be probably not as good, but we're going to be fun. So that's my initial thoughts on it.
Pap's shaking his head no because he wants Mike McDaniel as the next OC of the Lions. Did see he was interviewing today in Detroit, Pap, so a little good sign for the Lions. Pap,
Lock
who's
the
your
doors. Don't let him leave.
idea or name?
If it ain't Brian Flores, then I don't know who else is going to be for the Steelers. So yeah, I really like Brian Flores for that position. Or maybe Kelvin Shepard from the Lions has been a big name not big name, but he's done a couple interviews here and there. I don't know why he would get a head coaching job because, man, that defense was trash last 6 games of the season. But yeah, hopefully Brian Flores, I like that guy, so hopefully he gets a job.
Okay. Ryan?
I think Brian Flores is a great candidate, and the other one that I could see is the Seahawks defensive coordinator right now. I'm blanking on his name, but I think fits in a lot with how tough the Seahawks defense has been playing and how well they've been playing, that it fits kind of the overall, kind of theme of what a Steelers team is.
Yeah, so I'm going to tag along with Pap here. I think if they really stick with the Steelers theme of coaches, Mike Tomlin was actually, funny enough, the DC of the Vikings when he got hired by the Steelers. So it would be kind of funny if they hired the current DC of the Vikings and Brian Flores. But I really like Sean's idea of just kind of going outside the box and getting a Mike McDaniel, trying to bring an offensive mind just to kind of throw some curveballs out there. Like Garrett said, like Stefanski. I saw Mike McCarthy's name thrown out there as well, but I don't really see that one in Pittsburgh. He is a Pittsburgh guy, but he's kind of along the same lines of Mike Tomlin, always good in the regular season, a lot of times better than 500, but besides the one Super Bowl.
What do we think about John Gruden?
I don't think he's going to get an NFL job. I think he's done in the NFL. He's still suing the NFL simply with the way everything is in the NFL with the owners. I just don't ever see that being a possible avenue. It would be funny enough. John Gruden's hilarious.
It'd be really funny.
I'd love to see him back in the NFL, but if you really wanted to throw a crazy name out there, God, I had it in my head when I was listening to you guys talk, and now I'm blanking on it. Someone else talk. Someone else bring something up to talk about while I'm trying to remember this guy's name.
Take Joe Brady. Take him.
Let's talk about the politics. Let's talk about politics, guys. I mean, man, politics has been crazy.
All right, mute this kid. I actually, the one crazy name I was going to throw out there, just because, don't sleep on, I could see them, approaching a guy like Brian Dable. Not saying he had good success as a head coach, not saying it will be a good hire, but the offensive side of the ball, if you're trying to get a little crazy, he interviewed with the Titans. I love Brian Dable, especially since I saw reports today that he called John Harbaugh and tell him the Giants would be a good job for you. Jackson Dart and you would be a good connection. So shout out Brian Dable. You were a good dude, just didn't work out. No hate, just didn't work, and props. But hopefully he gets another job. I just wanted to give him a quick shout out. But
Marcus Freeman,
no,
he declined it again after he said he was staying. They said they're like, we're still going to pursue you because we think that's bullshit.
College coaches never work in the NFL.
He's too busy getting in fights at wrestling matches.
That was bull. Do you watch the video on that?
I saw the video.
You watched the video.
I watched the video.
It was not his fault at all.
He got followed out the door.
That coach was obsessed.
Yeah, not his fault whatsoever.
He's pretty handsome. So
yeah, let's as we're talking on Marcus Freeman here, let's just drop ever a college coach. I shouldn't say ever, but when someone name me a time a college coach has successfully ever gone from college to the NFL as a head coach and been successful. Anybody know one off the top of their head?
Pete Carroll.
Immediate success though. I mean, I feel like he wasn't good right away with the Seahawks. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, obviously I was 5 years old or younger.
He still got that.
He did get a ring.
He did get a ring and should have had another one.
Yeah,
yeah, that's true.
That
there's got to be somebody out there still.
Yeah, I mean, I just
a couple more. They were definitely bunking on.
It's the whole Marcus Freeman talk and the Kurt Signetti, and they throw all these random names out there. It's especially now with the way college football is, it's college football is basically the NFL. I mean, it's to some extent it's just the coaches have a lot more control over their team than they do in the NFL. I mean, in college you have a lot of times these teams have general managers and stuff like that, but the coach is making the final decision. The general manager's hey, look at this guy, we should go get him. But then the coach is either yes or no. So with that being said,
that's really GM's Andrew Luck.
Yeah, that's really going to kind of wrap it up. We're going to really dive in deep here in, I think, either a week or two once teams kind of finalize all their interviews and clear favorites start coming out. We're going to start giving our full-fledged predictions on each of these coaching vacancies, because right now it's still first-round interviews. Yes. Come on, John Harbaugh. But there's this
Come
still
on.
like first round interviews, too many question marks. People don't really know like who is the clear cut favorite. Like if you ask me right now who the Cardinals are going to hire, I seriously could not tell you. I don't even know if they've interviewed anybody. Who knows what's going on with that organization. So anybody got anything left to say? Anybody? All right. So that's going to do it for this week. Real quick, we want to say really appreciate all the listeners out there and subscribing for the YouTube channel. We've hit 215 or 214, I think, subscribers it is now. So that's like Mr. YouTube guy over there. How many is that?
We've gone from 70 to 215 in the past like 35 days.
That's great.
Nice.
We really,
Shout out.
we wouldn't be able.
Yeah.
Shout out all you guys. Shout out. Just, we really appreciate the support. Obviously, we wouldn't be doing this without you guys if you guys weren't listening and all that kind of stuff. So we really appreciate it. So go check out Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. The merch site will be getting relaunched here very soon. Be on the lookout. We will have an ASF on scene or like live episode coming later this week. We'll have another NFL one, and then we will have our first Cage Talk the following next week, like later in the week. So we're really excited for the schedule moving forward. We really appreciate you guys as always. Anybody else? No?
Go Bills.
Check out the new All Sports Focus Network logo.
Launch a new logo. So, yeah. We really appreciate you guys as always, and we will see you guys next week.